Hello, everyone, and welcome to another festive episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fan cast. I'm your host, Havokpus, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Frozencreek. How are you this holiday season, Frozencreek?
I'm cold as shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's getting pretty cold.
It got under 20 today for maybe the first time this year up here. It's cold out, so yeah, I'm coming back for a holiday edition, possibly the last one of the year unless anything crazy happens. Some house cleaning. First, Havoc. Who would you rather have? Jalen Hurts or Tua?
Oh, man. So, the good thing about Tua is Tua can throw the ball. The bad thing is Tua's bones are so fragile. They're like paper. He bumps into just about anything, and they shatter almost instantly. Meanwhile, Jalen, not so good with throwing the ball, but he sure does like to scramble, and he can run really fast. So it's kind of a situation of get something, you miss out on something else.
Yeah, and another thing that Jalen has is playoff appearance this year. So
Twist the knife in deeper.
I felt like I had to. A Mission State's bowl game, no joke, is being played outside on December 27th in New York City. Whoever the hell planned that was drunk.
Why would they? Why would anyone want to go and experience that?
Why would anybody want to go and watch two 6-6 teams duke it out in
the blistering cold
weather in a baseball stadium? Not even like a football stadium. It's a baseball stadium at Yankee Stadium. Stupidest idea ever, but I'm not going, so that's beside the point. Another house cleaning thing. Just to tease this. Once we get closer to the season, I think we have a special guest coming on. I'm not going to announce it yet because we don't have many details, but we have been in communications with an interesting special guest. So as that starts to happen, I will let you guys know because we will want to advertise it a little bit, probably the week before, but that will be closer to the split once we start talking about rosters around the league.
It is very exciting.
But it's interesting. It could be exciting.
You could play it up a bit more than that instead of just
Well, it's both. I mean, it depends how you feel about them. But yeah, we're not here to talk about the future. We're here to talk about the here and now and the past 2 or 3 weeks. So take it away.
All right, I'm gonna rattle off some of these kind of quickly. So bear with me, everybody. But the first thing, Mango celebrated his birthday, and what better way to do that with a Smash Brothers tournament? He had I think he had some other kind of events, but there was a singles bracket and a doubles bracket, and he won both of them. So what better way to celebrate your birthday than winning at your own party?
That is one good way.
It's just funny that he holds this whole big event. It's just like, oh, it's this tournament. I got some of my Smash friends to come down, and we're gonna have this big tournament bracket. It'll be fun. And he ends up just winning, and it kind of feels just like, man, how are you gonna win your own event? That's expected, but at the same time unexpected.
Or yeah, and then did they let him win?
Yeah, that's also a good question.
Birthday, but it wasn't actually his birthday. His birthday, I think, was yesterday, December 10th. This is being recorded December 11th. So anything that happens after this is not our fault this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. I actually went to go watch the finals on Twitch because I was at home at the time. And I saw it on my phone, and then I went to go put it on, and it was already over with. So
classic Smash Smash mistake, Frozen. You either watch at the very beginning of the tournament, or you don't watch at all.
Yeah, and that is a mistake I make every single time. So maybe next time.
Well, moving on, our Rainbow Six team, which we haven't heard about in a while, they won the Rainbow Six KR Invitational closed qualifier thingy. They won some closed qualifier tournament, which then allows them to compete in the 2020 APAC LAN qualifier for the 2020 APAC LAN event. It's one of those big Rainbow Six events. Our Rainbow Six team's kind of interesting because I think within Korea they're very good, but then when you get to sort of the more international competition, we're not that good. so I think we're probably guaranteed to get into the tournament, but us like performing well at the tournament is kind of a completely different story.
Okay, so it's like an easy to get in, hard to be on top kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like probably like European and like North American teams are going to be like a lot more competitive versus like Korean teams. So it'll be interesting to see, like what kind of competition that we bring to the table. But I have low expectations.
Yeah, well, that is a bit away. I'm not exactly sure when. I guess I would have to look that up really quick.
Yeah. But it should be, hopefully they can get in. I do like to kind of watch Rainbow Six, but the thing of like, if our team doesn't play, I kind of have no interest. So hopefully they can get in just so I can watch a little bit of it. Because
Yeah,
usually those events do kind of, they're played at like better times than like most like Korean events, because like our team always probably is playing at like, oh man, I don't know, like 2 a.m. or something, and everyone probably on the C9 social media team is asleep, so no one even knows that we're playing until the match is like already over.
Yeah, which is extremely not helpful for anyone.
Yeah, it's really
But
hard to kind of keep track of when like especially for Rainbow Six, since it's such a small, team. I get like relatively Rainbow Six is one of our smaller teams, and I want to keep up with them, but it's very hard when like you're barely getting any updates. Especially competing against something like Fortnite, where it's like our Fortnite team is, they get more exposure than them, and I guess that's because they just play at more North American friendly times.
yeah, that could be it. But after we got out of like we had a North American team, right?
For Rainbow Six,
Yeah.
we did. We sold them to another organization, and then we picked up this Korean team, which is kind of a big fish in a small pond kind of deal.
Which I guess is something.
Yeah. But I guess moving on, Fortnite got top 8 at the Fortnite Season 2 Champion Series Grand Finals. I'm not sure how exactly like these Fortnite events really work, if there's more of them, if this is like the last one in that series or what. But top 8's pretty good, so I'm glad they got fairly high on the winnings ladder. I didn't watch, so
I'm still not into Fortnite.
No, it's really hard to keep up with any of the Battle Royale stuff, because it's either you watch an individual person's stream, or if you go to like, just to see what they're doing. But if you want to get a scope of, what's going on in the whole event, you go to the event stream, and most of the time it's like really hard to keep up with all of the teams in a fairly balanced manner. So usually the casters are just picking on like, they're kind of like favored picks. So it's just like, we'll hover over like these 3 teams. And then it's just like, yeah, well, what about my team? And they'll like go for a bit, and they'll come back, and it's just really hard to keep up with. So it's a whole deal, and it's usually not fun, because a lot of the times with Battle Royale games, they'll just be like, okay, we're gonna sit around for 20 minutes, like just waiting for the circle to get smaller, and then when it's like absolutely at its smallest and we have to fight, then like actual shooting happens.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I've ever watched it, so I will have to but believe you. I do remember watching the what was the other one?
PUBG.
PUBG. Yeah, I
We
I
had a
did watch
PUBG
that a
team that
couple
we let
times.
go.
Yeah, I actually haven't even thought about that game in a while.
Oh
That's kind of
yeah, as
sad.
soon as our team left, I had wiped all interest from my memory.
Yeah, kind of sad because I did like watching them.
Yeah, and they were good too. I mean, they were winning some pretty good international events. So it was a real bummer when they left. And it's weird that we have a mobile team. Uh, but that's neither
Yeah, it's
here
certainly
nor there.
something.
But yeah, at least they did good. I guess the biggest results news from the past few weeks since we've recorded. I'm not sure if I said this last time. It's been a few weeks, but Rocket League was in the RLCS relegation tournament, and they were able to retain their spot, I believe, along with TSM and G2. So, or at least G2. I think TSM got promoted. I can't remember the other teams, but Cloud9 retains their RCLS spot, so they'll be able to compete next season. Hopefully, hopefully we'll see some better performance out of the team. This season they were really, really lackluster. I think they were like 2-8 or something in terms of their record for the season. Like they were looking really off and really struggling to get wins. So hopefully, after you know qualifying again, we can have some good practice and we can kind of get back to where we were and being like a top 4 team.
Yeah, which is absolutely bizarre considering how good we were playing in the World Cup.
No, yeah, I mean like we're like consistently a top 4 team at Worlds. We won a World Cup like last year. So it's really weird to see us have to participate in a relegation tournament.
Yeah, especially since we haven't changed any players.
I think the only thing that changed was we got a coach. And that's it. Like we
Oh, well,
didn't
that's not
change.
bad.
Like outside of that, we didn't change any kind of personnel. You know, we still have Squishy, Gimmick, and Torment playing. You know, and we don't have any subs that are trying to compete for time. So it's really odd that we kind of fell so out of sync and just really struggled. But hopefully that stops next season. I'm hoping because they've kind of been like one of the big mainstays for Cloud9 Esports.
Um, Pie Magic Man, aka known as the horse in our group chat, also said that alcohol was served at the mango event, so that's probably why he did so well.
It is the lubrication that makes and also breaks mango.
It sounds like it almost only makes them so.
It only makes him stronger.
Until somebody proves otherwise. But yeah, sorry, I digress.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I was wrapping up the Rocket League thing anyway. I don't think we have much more else to say about it.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect transition to CSGO because anyone who's been managing it has been drunk for quite a while.
I feel really bad for whoever's involved in CSGO, especially Jack. Like Jack's been like over these past few weeks, he has just been like having to answer some really like spiteful Reddit threads. Like you go on the sub and they'll just be like, Jack doesn't know shit, and Jack will come on the thread and just be like, look, you know, I talked to these players. You know, I offered them like A, B, and C, and I spelled out everything. I let them look at other teams. You know, it's their decision or whatever. You know, like he spells out basically like, look, I'm trying to be as good of an owner as I can be, without divulging anything important. But yeah, after like a drought of just question marks going around the CS:GO roster, we finally got some news. Automatic, Daps, and Kusta, along with our assistant coach Elma Putty, have left for Gen G Esports. The Automatic was also the last of the Boston Five who won the Boston Major last year. and it's kind of a surreal experience. I honestly don't blame Automatic for leaving. Like, the amount of trouble he's had to wallow in with CSGO, from like being this team that was on top and winning basically a world championship, to losing player after player after player and having to go through roster after roster after roster, like every like 4 to 5 months, and the team looking worse and worse. There has to be a breaking point somewhere, and I'm honestly surprised that he stuck around for as long as he did.
Yeah, I think he deserved the right to pick another team, and it kind of offers us a clean slate to go out and do what is rumored. So he has been a great servant for Cloud9, and I feel like he probably knew it was time to try something else because Cloud9's not really working out. And who was it? One of the CS:GO players said that while he was on the roster, they never practiced once.
It was Sabrosa, and
Yeah,
that was like the last iteration before the three boys kind of left. It was because Tens was benched, Sabrosa was brought on, basically to fill in, and Sabrosa was like, the team doesn't practice at all, and you can't blame them when they're having such mediocre, like, poor performances. Like, everyone is done. Like, half of your team has like already been fielding an offer from another org, and you're just waiting for contracts to be signed and everything to be approved. There's no point in practicing when you're going to be leaving in like 3 months anyway, right? So I kind of don't blame the team for practicing. I don't blame Automatic for leaving. It's not like a Tark or a Stewie situation where, you sign a new contract and then you automatically are like, I want to go to another team, or, at the first sign of trouble, you just start looking for a new team to go to. I don't see them as, this isn't one of those backstabbing situations like what they did. Automatic stayed, and he provided a great service for C9, and he tried to be a captain for the team, and he clearly was just like, I need a change, and so he left. And I don't blame him, and I agree that there definitely needs to be a new change of scenery. I think we need to just start blank canvas, get rid of just everybody, and just start over. There is a rumor that C9 is, or I guess a heavily implied, a heavy rumor that C9 is looking to sign the ATK roster. I don't know much about them, but everyone is saying that it seems like a pretty good prospect, a lot of fresh young faces, and everyone, it's a team that already has a lot of synergy together. So it seems like a pretty good starting point if we were to take that.
Yeah, it's a bunch of young players who really aren't that great at the moment, but it seems like there is a lot of potential to mold them into something good. So I think it's good news. I mean, I feel like this is probably the best move we could make at the moment, besides trying to buy out a bunch of contracts. So
I think it's much better than contracts, because CSGO, at least for my limited understanding of it, is that it is just a bunch of big names that have been around for a while, and they just kind of bounce from team to team. There is not a really big wealth of new up and coming talent. There's probably a lot in like a T2 scene kind of scenario, but like a lot of teams and teams that are wanting to compete in the tier 1 scene, it's just guys bouncing back and forth. And some of these guys have been playing for like 10 plus years. Everyone's just like, oh, we'll sign him. And it's just like, yeah, well, he's been playing for a while. And it's also hard to kind of develop talent. So it may be good for Cloud9 just to start over, just get a really young team, try to get them to do well in tier 2, and then see where it goes from there. I really don't think especially with how we've completely botched the handling of our team for the past like year, I don't think we should be trying to compete in any kind of tier 1 scene just yet. I think we just need to do this, ball of clay, try to get it into something that's good and competitive, and then go from there.
Yeah, it really is a good opportunity for some new players to jump into the scene, and for the fans to kind of gather around this team that seems to like playing together, and and bring in a bunch of new faces to the Cloud9 org, as opposed to just like throwing around a bunch of money that isn't necessary. But we obviously don't know how good this team can be. They haven't been great very far. They've been okay, about a bottom 5 EPL team, which isn't ideal. But I think with Cloud9's resources, that it will be a big thing for their development.
Yeah, I think that it's also just good from a money standpoint because, they probably, are a lot cheaper to buy than, and it's like, oh, we can get like all these big names that everyone knows about that probably have big contract buyouts and are probably a lot of difficulties to try to like, okay, you're good. Who can we get you to play with that would make you good and not suck? Instead of just like, all right, we'll just take this whole team and then see what we can work with. So I think from a lot of different angles, it's a good move. And if this does turn out to be the thing, I'm really excited to see just how they play and if they can improve anything with a lot more resources from a bigger organization than, whoever they're playing with now.
Yeah, and just a quick disclaimer before we move on really quick. This is still just a rumor, so
yes,
wait until it's on the Cloud9 website to have too big of a party.
Yeah, usually,
but it's
usually
a step in the right direction.
Yeah, usually with these CSGO rumors, though, like once like someone like Decay or someone reports it, it's usually a done deal already.
Yeah, and it's probably been done for a couple weeks now, to be honest.
Yeah, but until the ink is dry and there's an official announcement, we cannot officially say that this is a move. Right now, it is just a rumor, but yeah, we'll definitely say for sure once any news does come out. But moving on, this is just a quick kind of thing. If you're in the London area, or if you're in Europe, the London homestead tickets are on sale. So if you're a fan of the London Spitfire or in Europe and just want to see some homestead games, definitely pick them up. I'm not sure what the prices are, and I'm not sure how the equivalent is for like Americans to pounds or euros. But I'm
gonna look right now.
Okay.
Let's see. So it looks like they're playing in London and Birmingham, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think the London show or the London match is in like March, and then I think the Birmingham one is more in like June.
Yeah, March 28th is the London match. And it looks, general seats are £57, which without using a calculator, I'm taking a guess, is probably around $85.
That's not that bad. That's kind of what you'd expect for like sports tickets.
Maybe I'm spoiled because all of the Detroit teams suck, but I can get.
I didn't want to say it, so I'm glad you said it.
I could probably have somebody pay me to get rid of their Tigers tickets or Red Wings tickets. I could probably spend $10 and get Pistons tickets. And Lions are a little bit harder, but even for the LCS finals, I only paid like $35-40 a ticket, but the arena probably sits 10 times as many people as this will, but still kind of crazy to me.
Well, the important thing is that you do have fun. That's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, the Birmingham one is June 6th.
Okay. Well, if you're in the area and you have the quiche, go get some tickets. See our boys. I guess to talk a little bit about the roster since we have time. Robin did tweet out something interesting, saying that. Heck, I can try to find it just to say word for word, but it was something along the lines of there being hinted at like new more signings. Let's see, I may have deleted it. was a few weeks ago.
Or yeah,
Because I remember
do
seeing
we
it.
have a full roster?
We have the initial 8, and I think the important thing is to say initial, because okay, yeah, there is a tweet that he made on December 2nd saying we're making more moves. Not sure what this means, very vague, but it could be that our team is looking to make more of a 12-man roster, but our initial 8 so far is Bernard, JMac, Fuse, Sanguinar, Glister, Hiley, Shui, and Krillin.
Alrighty, so that's a star. I obviously
They are all like up and coming players from tier 2, like from contenders. So like this will be the majority of like everyone, like even Krillin, who Krillin's only played like 4 games in the Overwatch League for us like this season. So this is a like, when I mean like fresh roster, this is a fresh roster. So this is going to be their first time like playing in the Overwatch League and playing against like Overwatch League caliber talent. I have like almost no expectations for how this roster is going to really perform. It could be great, with a team that's actually driven by coaching rather than just a bunch of diva, super talented individual players trying to all just get along with each other. It could be great, or it could be that they're just really not that good, and that we kind of invested in a lot of like low-level talent for nothing. So
yeah,
I'm kind of trying to be optimistic, but keep my expectations relative. I'm not expecting playoffs or anything. I think the high ceiling goal is to just make it to playoffs. I don't expect us to get far into playoffs, but I think that if he wanted to give us like, okay, here's where you should try to at least shoot for, that's probably it. But like I said, this, it's going to be a really weird thing, especially with this is the first year of them doing the whole homestead thing. So there's going to be a lot more travel involved, which I'm still not sure how we're going to do that, since there's a whole ocean separating Europe from the Atlantic coast of America.
yeah, and it's like 8 time zones, I think, from California
Yeah.
to London. So that adds another
So
twist to it.
Yeah, so I'd imagine like right now the team is all like kind of just chilling in Korea and hanging out, but yeah, going from Korea to like Europe is kind of your home base, and then being like, okay, we have matches like this week at New York, and then in like a week or 2 weeks we have to go to like Atlanta or something, and then we have to go to Paris, and then, it's like kind of like a whole globe hopping thing. I think that maybe since like there's only like 2 European teams, I would imagine most of the season's games we played in the US just for convenience sake. But knowing how Blizzard is and how poorly they've planned, like probably like 2 seasons now of the Overwatch League, I would not be surprised if it's us having to constantly hop from one continent to another and stuff.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I do think it's ambitious and a cool idea, so I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's going to be an interesting experiment for sure. If it is good enough that they will stick with it and they can kind of build off it to be better or not, who knows? But we'll just have to see. But moving on to some League of Legends stuff, I guess we can talk about first the Academy roster. The Academy roster was announced.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention our top laner, since we announced Knight to be our top laner, but pretty like 4 days after he was announced, he made a tweet saying he was looking for other options, and Cloud9 was letting him go, and it wasn't working out.
Which was deleted and then reposted and deleted again?
I can't remember. It was posted, deleted, and then it was reposted, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Jack went on a Reddit thread and said that it wasn't working out, and he wishes him the best. The rumors are that maybe we'll have Fudge play, but I'm not sure if nothing has been announced in terms of if Knight is still going to be with us or if we've replaced him with anybody. So that's kind of up in the air. If there's anything more official, we'll definitely make include that in whatever episode.
I will say that if we do get Fudge, I hope somebody onto the desk makes a fudge packing joke.
Just a lot of fudge puns. That's what I want. A lot of candy fudge based kind of jokes.
Chocolatey, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, who else is on this roster?
In the jungle, we have Dragon Minkim. I think he was in the scouting grounds this year, I believe.
Okay.
Along with Palafox and the mid lane. Palafox, I think, was also at scouting grounds.
Yeah, I think he's been around a tiny bit too.
Yeah. His name is familiar. We also have King, who is from the Dire Wolves, and also from Mammoth Gaming, who Mammoth Gaming was at Worlds this year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Him along with Fudge was. They went to Worlds. I think they weren't able to get out of the bracket stage, I believe.
Okay, so it looks like Palafox was on Optic Academy and
he was on Optic Academy.
Golden Guardians Academy, and he's been in scouting grounds twice, but he was in LPL last year.
Yeah,
that's a show match, so maybe not.
Within the OPL, King has been like a top ADC, and Mammoth Gaming won one there.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Palafox.
Oh, Palafox.
Sorry,
I got confused.
I'll look up King too.
But yeah, King is, I believe, a pretty storied OCE player. He's been he's had a bunch of first and second places in the OC, and he's been to Worlds a couple of times, even though he hasn't really gotten out of the plans.
Yeah, it's an interesting pickup. I mean, I do like the idea of NA allowing some minor region team or players into academy a little bit easier, but I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna work for going to the LCS, because I don't think they were given a free or a non-import slot for LCS. Were they just
I think it might have been
Academy?
I think it's just for Academy. I think for LCS they still apply that, which, and this will probably be a whole other discussion once we get to that roster episode, but I will say that right now the NALCS is very weak. We saw that at Worlds this year, and probably in a lot of international competition for a while, and there needs to be significant changes, but I think that Riot is probably, they seem very reluctant to actually make big sweeping changes that would help the region. So I don't see how this really helps in developing talent when you can let teams bring in the minor region players, even though moving up to LCS, I believe they still cost like an import slot, just like everybody else.
Yeah, like even if you have someone in academy for 4 years, that's a long time to commit to sitting essentially on the bench in LCS to get a starting spot as a non-import. Like if King were to do that, say he'd be 25 once he became a resident. So yeah, we can talk about that later with our possible special guest. We know who Diamond is, obviously. So should we jump
Diamond
to...
needs no introduction.
Yeah, so let's jump to our last topic, and then I want to ask you quickly about a topic that was on Hotline League this week.
Okay. Well, I guess
So-
our last topic, Sven and Vulcan have been pretty much tearing it up in solo queue. They are doing their own separate boot camp from the team boot camp that is going to happen after the Christmas holidays. And right now they're the challenger. They're a bit over 1,000 LP. But watching them has been really interesting because, to me at least, it feels very refreshing watching this versus when Sneaky was playing on the team, because Sneaky would not do any of this. Sneaky didn't put in all this time to be like, okay, I have a new support. I want to put in a lot of games with them to make sure that we have the synergy down and we know how to play with each other and our champion pools and everything makes sense and all this other stuff that you really need to have for the bot lane, since it's a very kind of synchronous lane. Sneaky never did anything of that. Most of the time when he's in Korea, he was kind of playing by himself. Sometimes he'd like duo with other members of his team or friends or whatever, but he never seemed to really put in that much of an effort and go the extra mile. But with Sven and Vulcan, right off the bat, they're like, okay, we have to put in all this time. We have to make sure we can work together. We have to make sure we're sharp and ready to compete at a high level. And watching them play, it looks like they can. I mean, they've taken on some Korean bot lanes that, compete in the LCK, and they look fairly competitive. And Sven's been crushing it, and Vulcan's been crushing it. And I think that they've really sold me on the idea of Sven and Vulcan in the bot lane.
Yeah, they have been playing well. I will say I don't think that's totally fair about Sneaky, but I'm not gonna go into that now because he's not on the roster, and this doesn't feel like the right time to talk about it. But it has been pretty promising to see them climb the ladder, though you kind of would expect them to climb the ladder, just because they are still professional players who are obviously very good, and they should probably get to top 100 Korea by the time they're done. I know the team is boot camping in Korea also, so they will be there for that. And then I think that's when we'll start to hear more of how it's actually going. But it seems like they're building a good partnership together right now. I'm assuming they're living together and doing all this together, so it is a good experience for them to learn each other before they learn the Cloud9 team. So
yeah, and I mean, I know solo queue isn't everything, and just doing well in solo queue is a deal. I mean, it's really nothing when you're not playing against teams or scrimming or anything. So I'm aware of that, but I do think it is nice just to see that them kind of going the extra mile and put in like so much effort and energy just to make sure that things feel right and themselves are ready, so then they can practice with the team and get ready as a 5-man squad. So I'm just really surprised and appreciate their dedication.
oh yeah, so do you listen to Hotline League or watch it? I guess?
No, I'm aware of it.
All right, so it's hosted by Travis Gafford and Mark Z. But this week they I didn't listen to all of it. I just listened to the announcement that about the rumors he heard about that Travis has heard. Mark didn't really confirm it. There was a woman on from I think Fox Esports, apparently, or maybe it was ESPN. I'm not entirely sure, and she didn't entirely confirm it either. But it sounds like there's going to be some scheduling changes for LCS this year. They are not expanding the amount of games played, which kind of sucks. But it sounds like they're adding an extra day of stage time. It sounds like they're going to have some Monday night LCS going on, is the rumor as of right now. And somehow Academy might be involved in this somehow. And Mark said that there was talks of something even bigger happening, but Travis didn't seem to know what it was, and he couldn't say anything more. So it seems like there's going to be a 3-day broadcast, and that's going to involve a Monday night. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I like the thought of Monday night games. I think that, league definitely needs to kind of either sprinkle games more out throughout the week so teams have more time to prepare and to be rested and ready. Is also just a thing for viewership, but I think that's good. I think that they really should just switch back to a best of 3 format. I don't know why we're trying to stay with this best of ones, like sports night kind of thing, because that's kind of the thing that weakened our region in the first place. As soon as we went from best of 3s to best of 1s, I knew, okay, so we're not going to be playing as many games. Cool. We're not going to do as well anymore. And sure enough, we're here to where, once again, we look like a joke region that can't compete against anybody. So I don't know. I think that more games is good, just from a playing standpoint, to kind of get more practice time and stage time. But if we're still doing best of 1s, I don't really see the point. There'd have to be like a whole information thing on like what exactly is changing for me to really see what's going on, so I know what's happening. But that's at least my initial impression of it.
Yeah, I think it is a really cool idea. I'm still not entirely sold on Monday nights. Granted, it's after it's in between the NFL season for the most part, so it's not that big of a deal. So it won't interfere with Monday Night Football at all, if I remember correctly, which was my first concern.
Because that's really like the big thing that, like if you do something on Monday night, you definitely have to consider what sports programs are you kind of playing on top of. Because if it's Monday Night Football, no one's really going to want to watch you if an NFL team is playing. I'm not sure about baseball and other sports.
I mean, nobody watch. Sorry, nobody who is in their teens and early 20s really watches baseball. I don't think so.
I can attest to
think
that.
a lot of them are probably LCS fans. Hey, we're not in our teens or early 20s in anymore. So I feel like more of us would watch baseball than kids now.
Yeah, baseball's boring though.
Yeah, we're old. Don't forget that.
I'm not 30 yet. You can't call me old.
I'm creeping up there. Probably the next time we talk, I might be 28.
I can skateboard.
I might be 28 next time we talk on the show. So that is dangerously close to 30, as I tell them myself every day, and I'm only in a little pain. So I hope it doesn't get any worse. But sorry, I digress. I really do feel like they do need to advance or pick up more of an LCK type schedule where they're playing more days a week, just because I think it would be cooler to see a Monday night game, a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, a Sunday, and each team plays 2 best of 3s throughout the week. So they would play Monday night and Friday night or something like that. And I feel like they took off the Friday because nobody was really watching it.
Yeah, I could see that because Friday night's kind of like you have like kind of like social stuff going on, and no one's gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, dude, I can't hang out. I wanna, I gotta watch TSM play."
Yeah, which nobody says because TSM sucks, but that's beside the point. Monday night is an interesting idea, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do. I want them to make some changes because the more viewers we have, the more money that gets pumped into the system. So, and that's what we need.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be changes. I'd like to see like a full list of what all they're changing, but I think that change is good. I think that it's good that they're at least trying to think like, bigger picture. How can they improve the LCS and how can they make it not only people are watching it more, but also the teams are playing better so they can be more competitive in these bigger like international events, and that it's not just a thing of, oh well, the American teams suck and no one wants to watch them, kind of thing. I think they doubly want to do it just because I think that Riot is, kind of an American company. So they kind of feel like, well, we should at least have like our American teams like do well.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like that's a discussion for no other day. That can be saved.
I think it's just that people are tired of seeing like, oh, well, a Chinese team or Korean team won again, and that's happened like every year. Like no one wants to see that anymore. I think it's a thing of it's become so expected that it kind of ruins the point of watching Worlds. Like no matter how competitive Worlds is, the expectation is the top like Chinese team or the top Korean team is going to go and play in the finals, and then one of them will win, and then it inevitably like goes that way. So it's just like, all right, well, which team's going to win, and that's kind of the end of it.
Yeah. It really, yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's not an argument I'm prepared to have right now.
No, yeah, it's definitely a whole other issue that we probably don't have time for.
Yeah, and I have laundry in, so I do need
Yeah.
to go move that a little bit.
Right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for listening. If anything jumped out at you, be sure to let us know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Oh yeah, and get at us at C9 Bodied on Twitter.
Yes. We'll probably not be back until after the holidays.
Yeah, unless something big happens.
Yeah, unless something big happens.
I guess the end of the year is still 3 weeks away, so who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But until then, happy holidays, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.